Shark Media.
From New York City, where the only thing more riveting than a former president on trial is the circus parade of sycophants treating it like a MAGA meet and greet, this is Ballot.
Today, we have Sharpie signed checks, bogus legal invoices, and admissions of fraud that would make even John Grisham blush. Let's hit this. It seems the gloves are finally coming off in Donald Trump's hush money trial. The former president's legal team kicked off their quest to discredit his former fixer-turned-foe Michael Cohen with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer to the kneecaps. The cross-examination got off to a fiery, profanity-laced start as Trump's lead attorney Todd Blanche wasted no time painting Cohen as a lying, fame-hungry grifter. He cited past instances of Cohen singing Trump's praises before their falling out, noted his current anti-Trump merch side hustle, and even asked if Cohen had called him a crying little shit on TikTok. Classy. Cohen, being the natural straight man he is, simply responded, "Sounds like something I would say," setting the stage for what's sure to be a riveting courtroom drama full of witty barbs and backhanded insults. Hey, when your key witness is a convicted felon, you have to expect some fireworks. But never one to be upstaged, Trump rolled into court with an ever-growing entourage of sycophants and supporters, including the newly minted Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Denouncing the trial as a sham and Cohen as a revenge-obsessed grifter, Johnson's appearance was a stark reminder that the once unimaginable is now just another day in Trump world trademark. I mean, who could have predicted even a decade ago that the Speaker would show up to publicly defend a former president on trial for 34 felonies? With 3 more trials still to come? It's almost impressive in its sheer brazenness. Meanwhile, Cohen kept chugging along, repeatedly testifying that the money Trump paid him wasn't for legal fees as claimed, but was very much related to buying Stormy Daniels' silence during the 2016 campaign. He even regaled the court with tales of an Oval Office meeting where Trump discussed the hush money reimbursements. Of course, the biggest question still looms. Will the star of the show, Mr. Donald J. Trump himself, take the stand? The defense is keeping that card deliciously close to the vest for now. Though can you even imagine the ratings bonanza if he subjects himself to cross-examination? It would make appointment viewing. In the meantime, the oft-ignored gag order against Trump remains firmly in place, much to his chagrin, I'm sure. Trump is scheduled to give the keynote speech at the state Republican Party's big Lincoln-Reagan dinner on May 17th. But in a classic Trumpian juggling act, that just so happens to be the same day he requested off from his criminal trial to attend son Barron's graduation ceremony. Of course, Trump being Trump, he had to make a big show of the graduation scheduling conflict in the first place, taking to Truth Social to complain about potentially missing his wonderful son, Barron's big day, clearly aiming for maximum patriarch points from his base, because heaven forbid the man miss an opportunity for a self-aggrandizing humble brag. Luckily, the judge in Trump's hush money case was accommodating enough to clear the court calendar for the 17th after Trump's public gripe. Although you've got to wonder if the jurist had this whole Minnesota dinner double booking situation in mind too. Maybe he just figured it was easier to give Trump the day than deal with a mess of delays and scheduling chaos. Trump has turned the courtroom into a veritable MAGA souvenir photo op, parading his most loyal lapdogs through the proceedings like they're on some deranged field trip. We've had everyone from Senators Rick Scott and Tommy Tuberville to the bright-eyed J.D. Vance, tweeting away and nearly nodding off from sheer boredom. But this week's guests were the real piece de resistance. Rolling up in their matching red power ties and Trump-approved dark suits were none other than former 24 hopefuls Doug Burgum and Vivek Ramaswamy, joined by Congressman Byron Donalds, the holy trinity of potential Trump VP contenders. They even dressed down in the requisite uniform of ill-fitting suits and scuffed dress shoes, or in Donald's case, straight-up sneakers, because rules were made to be broken. And what an auspicious day for their little courtroom cameo. Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer-turned-prime accusator, was on the stand dishing all the delectable details about that $130,000 hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. With faux invoices, checks bearing Trump's distinctive Sharpie scribble, and Cohen's own admissions that, yes ma'am, it was all a fraudulent cover-up. The evidence was pretty damning stuff. You'd think the VP hopefuls would be watching with rapt attention as their potential future boss's fate played out, but you'd be wrong. While Burgum and Donalds at least pretended to pay attention, Ramaswamy was totally zoned out, never once looking up from his little doodle book as the damning evidence cycled across the courtroom screens. In fact, Vivek was so utterly disinterested and aloof throughout the proceedings that he had to crane his neck up towards the fluorescent lights during one of the breaks, likely just to confirm the room had a ceiling. I can only assume maintaining that bundle of concentrated apathy was a real workout for the guy. Later, he tried to gaslight the whole world by claiming the Stormy saga and cover-up made less sense to him after watching it all unfold. Granted, cognitive dissonance is kind of his brand. But come on, man. The whole grotesque display was just Trump turning his criminal trial into some sort of deranged campaign event, MAGA cab calling convention. A circus where the star is the one behind bars and the die-hard fans keep streaming in to soak up the mayhem like courtroom tourists. At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump started hawking signed copies of his mugshot outside the courthouse between cross-examinations. Hey, you gotta really maximize those grifting opportunities when you can, am I right? Strap in, folks, because the crazy train has no brakes. This trial is shaping up to be a vaudeville freak show for the ages with Trump as the ringleader. Somebody grab the popcorn, the snark is just getting started. And yeah, I didn't make fun of Biden again. But come on, Trump has a full circus going and Joe's raising tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. That's not really that fun. Do you want me to do these jokes? Biden's raising tariffs on Chinese semiconductors. Finally, a reason for our slow computers and buffering Netflix other than bad Wi-Fi. Biden's new tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles and batteries might just make the Flintstones' foot-powered cars the next big thing in America. None of us want that. Anyway, Joe Biden is so old. When he was born, the Dead Sea was just sick. Joe Biden is so old, his social security number is 1. And Joe Biden is so old, when he took a history class, it was just called Current Events. If you'd like this podcast without commercial interruption, open up the show on the Apple Podcasts app and become a subscriber before someone goes and raises the tariffs on that. For just $4.99 a month, you can get this and other shows on the Calaroga Shark Network, including daily comedy news without commercials. Portions of the podcast were made with the help of AI. Some portions were not.